All right, Anjali. Well, thank you very much for that comprehensive overview of what that report essentially means. Of course, there's going to be a lot of focus not just on dining out, but dining in as well. But other than that, there is going to be a specific focus as far as tier 2 and 3 towns are concerned. And of course, local cuisine, that is only going to grow. In fact, ladies and gentlemen, I also caught up with Rohit of Swiggy. In fact, he is the CEO of the food services segment. Rohit Kapoor, I caught up with him this afternoon. He also spoke to me about this report and a whole lot of industry matters that are impacting the food delivery services market. And more importantly, what are the company's plans for bold growth beyond the geographies that it is currently present in? Let's take a look at what Rohit had to say.
So look, I think Swiggy is very integral to anything which happens in food services. That's how we see it. Our role is. So that I think is covers every part of the food services chain as we see it. But in terms of just size, we see the market going to, and this is a report with Carney.
Right.
Market going to about $120 billion by 2030, with the organized segment growing about 2x of the unorganized segment. But there are several sub-trends which are equally interesting. For example, the couple of things which caught my attention was dining out becoming quite popular even in the next 100 and next 200 cities. The growth of all kinds of cuisine. So there is cuisine like Pahadi cuisine or regional cuisine showing up on the map quite a bit. And I think quite fascinating to see equal amount of consumer love for what we call normal fast food or casual dining, as well as for healthy eating, which is largely we are seeing protein as well as no added sugar as categories start becoming more relevant.
Right. So very interesting things that you've talked about, but I'm going to pick up one of these things that you've just spoken about, which is the fact that dining out is growing, right? So, and I ask this question because there have been industry experts that have stated that, it's perhaps the food service market, it's players like Swiggy which are going to eat into the revenues of the dining out market, but it seems like both are going to coexist.
Both will coexist because see, the consumer is always looking. Consumer, what they want to do or what she wants to do is a state of mind. So for example, I always say that if you're watching your favorite show, right, and you're in your pajamas and you're chilled, no amount of incentive can drag you out of the home at that point in time. You just want to be there, you want to watch your show, you want to order in food and have it, right? Equally, if you're going on a date or you're going on a birthday party or celebration or anything, if you want to go out, you will go out, right? So I don't particularly think that there is a either or. I think we will see both grow. Now, relative percentages may change depending on what kind of food it is, what kind of restaurant it is. But we see this growing, especially in tier 2, tier 3, tier 4 towns.
Right.
Dining out options are increasing. So it's no longer that just one dhaba which was there. In many small towns also see the small QSRs opening up. The fast food chains showing up there. So things are changing.
And of course, regional food, like you said, is a big draw for many of these customers and users. But sir, let's also talk about your quick service offering, given the fact that the industry, this particular industry has seen a lot, the quick commerce industry has seen a lot of growth. There have been a lot of players also who've tried to sort of get into the ecosystem. There have been, ride-hailing platforms that want to experiment with this. How are you looking at the competitive intensity? And what is going to unfold over the next couple of years in terms of consolidation, or is there more place for players given the fact that tier 2 and 3 towns have not really seen penetration?
See, the structure of the industry, I don't hazard a guess on. That's not my job, honestly. But in terms of competition, it's always been there. So if you look at the food delivery market itself, there was multiple players as late as like 8 years back. There was like global MNCs playing in the space. There was a global multinational which experimented with food delivery in Bangalore for 2-3 years, as late as till the year before last, I think, right? There are players who are enabled through NDC to compete. So it's not like we have not had competition. So that's a way of life. I don't think we either disregard it or treat it with too much of our attention, because frankly our core job is to serve our consumers, to create more choices for them, to look at all angles where we can provide convenience. And this is a tough business. It's a it's a very challenging. Any hyperlocal business is quite challenging to build and scale. So I think we are um, reasonably well placed, and of course that doesn't mean that we take our eyes off the ball, and that will never happen. You'll continue to see innovation and growth coming in from Swiggy all the time.
So when you talk about scaling up and when you talk about growth, let's talk about the quick commerce segment. Where is it that you're looking at expanding next?
Quick commerce, you mean the quick food delivery?
Yeah.
You're talking about Bolt?
Yeah.
Bolt, I think, is already scaled up to 500 plus towns. I think it has probably 80,000 restaurants also already had menu which is on Bolt. And I think the job cut out there is to increase the number of use cases where we can extend the Bolt service, and also to extend that service more on the platform to the consumers who really love it. So because now we know the kind of consumers who look for quick delivery a lot more, and just building on the consistency of the service over the next 3 to 6 months is going to be the focus.
Right. Let's also talk about some industry-related developments. The labor codes have been announced, and this was a much-awaited policy decision. How does it really impact players like yourselves? Because there are some analysts which are essentially suggesting that this is going to increase the compliance burden for companies. This is going to eventually increase costs by 1 to 2%, and which will essentially mean increasing platform fees. Do you think Swiggy will be undertaking those kind of moves, strategic moves?
No, you've gone too far ahead. I think we are not. We're awaiting details on the specifics of the code, but in general, I think our view on the code is very positive. We welcome this move to, provide clarity, and I think it's becoming a significant part of the economy. The gig, or what I call people who are looking for flexible employment, right? It's becoming a very large part, and I think this clarifies to a great degree in terms of how. What do we need to do? And look, at the end of the day, for any organization operating, clarity is helpful, and these codes bring in that clarity at the central level, right? So we welcome them. In terms of actual specifics of what happens, we'll have to wait for the final details to come out.
So we're not looking at a platform fee hike in the near future?
I'm not here to give you clickbait headlines. I'm answering a factual question. The fact is that the codes have come out. We welcome it. And when the details come out, we'll absolutely study it and do the right thing.
Right. Just one final question before we let you go, and this is essentially about this entire matter about companies sharing customer data with restaurants. Will Swiggy be undertaking that as well? What is your thought?
So we are evaluating it consistently, and I think it has to. We look at compliance to whatever the laws of the land require us to comply with. I think it looks at impact on all stakeholders, but this is something that we are not close to. But equally, I don't think we have taken a decision at this point in time what to do with it.
Okay, just one final question, because I have to ask you about the growth. Festive growth was, bumper year on year or month on month. If you see, the next big trigger for this particular segment is going to be the New Year season. What is the kind of growth that you're anticipating and expecting?
Look, I think New Year comes every year. That's the good part about New Year, right? I look
this year it's also been about the GST rate rationalization, right? Which is
yeah,
more money.
I think we are seeing it's planning to plan. Let me put it this way. I think we are happy with some of the momentum that we're seeing in the category, right? But equally for us, it's New Year's is all about, while the world parties. We prepare very heavily, and we are in office that day serving our consumers, and we love it actually, because being able to be relevant to our consumers and their high points and their in their journeys. And look, I love Christmas. It's all.
But you love numbers too, so
yeah, and it's good. It's like Diwali or any other time.
In?
I think I think we're penciling in a good. Looks like a good Christmas and New Year, but it's a month out, so we'll see.